before the rise of empires, before kings and kingdoms, before history found its voice, humanity's earliest footsteps echoed across the lands of Eastern Africa. Nearly 300,000 years ago, early Homo sapiens lived in this region. In the vast landscapes of the Great Rift Valley, some of the oldest human fossils ever discovered remind us that this is one of the birthplaces of humankind. This is where our story begins. In valleys carved by time, beside great lakes like Lake Victoria, and along mighty rivers such as the Nile River, early humans learned to survive, to hunt, to gather, and eventually to build civilization. Eastern Africa was not an isolated wilderness. It was a crossroads of innovation, migration, and trade, shaping the destiny of an entire continent. By around 3000–2000 BC, dramatic climate shifts transformed parts of the region. Communities adapted. They domesticated cattle. They planted sorghum and millet. Fishing villages appeared along lakeshores. Herdsmen guided cattle across open grasslands. By 1000 BC, iron-working technology began spreading into Eastern Africa, revolutionizing agriculture and warfare. Stronger tools meant larger farms. Larger farms meant growing populations. Slowly, scattered families became settlements, and settlements became societies. Between 1000 BC and 1000 AD, the Great Bantu migrations reshaped Eastern Africa. Bantu-speaking peoples moved gradually across the region, bringing agriculture, iron tools, and new social structures. Forests were cleared, villages expanded, trade networks widened. Eastern Africa was awakening. To the north, along the Great Nile Valley south of Egypt, powerful African kingdoms emerged in the land known as Nubia. As early as 2500 BC, Nubian societies were trading gold, ivory, and incense. By around 1070 BC, the mighty Kingdom of Kush rose to prominence. Its rulers would eventually conquer Egypt and establish the 25th dynasty of Egypt around 747 BC, ruling as pharaohs for nearly a century. Kushite kings built pyramids even more numerous than those in Egypt, especially in cities like Meroe, which became the kingdom's capital around 300 BC. Meroe thrived as a center of iron production between 300 BC and 300 AD, earning a reputation as one of Africa's earliest industrial powers. Caravans crossed the desert, carrying gold, ivory, ebony, and exotic goods. The Nile connected Africa's interior to the Mediterranean world, making the region a center of commerce and influence. Further east, another great power flourished in the Horn of Africa. By around 100 AD, the Kingdom of Aksum emerged in what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea. By the 3rd century AD, Aksum had become one of the most powerful states in the ancient world alongside Rome, Persia, and China. Its capital, Aksum, was a bustling metropolis. Massive stone obelisks towered over the city. Coins bearing royal inscriptions circulated through markets. Ships sailed from Red Sea ports to Arabia, India, and the Mediterranean. Around 330 AD, King Ezana of Aksum adopted Christianity, making Aksum one of the earliest major kingdoms in the world to officially embrace the faith. From African highlands to distant foreign ports, Aksum controlled trade routes linking Africa, Asia, and Europe. Eastern Africa was now firmly connected to the wider world. Centuries later, beginning around 800 AD, thriving trade cities rose along the coast of the Indian Ocean. In what are now Somalia, Kenya, and Tanzania, African traders built prosperous city-states along the Swahili coast. By 1500 AD, these Swahili cities were flourishing. Stone-built towns such as Kilwa Kisiwani became wealthy from exporting gold from inland Africa, as well as ivory and spices. Dhow ships filled harbors. Markets buzzed with merchants from Arabia, Persia, India, and even China during the voyages of the 15th century. Swahili culture blended African traditions with Arab and Persian influences. A new language emerged, Kiswahili, spoken along the coast. Eastern Africa had become a gateway between continents. From the iron furnaces of Meroe to the towering obelisks of Aksum, to the coral stone cities of the Swahili coast, Eastern Africa was never silent in history. It was dynamic, connected, innovative, long before colonial borders, long before modern nation-states. Eastern Africa shaped trade, culture, religion, and global exchange. Its civilizations rose through adaptation, resilience, and vision, and their legacy still lives in languages, traditions, architecture, and faith. This is not just Africa's story. It is humanity's story. For in Eastern Africa, civilization did not simply appear. It was forged over thousands of years by people who dared to build, to trade, to migrate, and to dream. And the echoes of that dawn still shape our world today. Comment, like, and keep following this historical journey.